Show, live on WBON TV Channel 9 and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair, the law office of Patrick O'Neill, Nuevo Vallarta, the Richmond Raceway, and Affordable Service Solutions. Now let's go live to your hosts, Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, and Dawson Rule.
Welcome in, everybody, to another exciting episode of the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. We are live here inside of the lobby area here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. Dawson Rule, Michael Watkins here.
Oh, wait. We're kidding.
Hey.
We had to take a dig at you, Samantha.
I went to the EKU Utah Tech game.
I know you did, but that was on a Saturday. And then you bookended 2 Mondays where you weren't here.
It is
and
true.
You didn't even miss us.
I thought I was going to be back in time for the show last Monday, but our flight was delayed an hour and a half.
Here's what I heard. I heard you did so good in Vegas, you stayed an extra like 3 or 4 days because you made so much money.
I wish.
And then John said you spent it all at the Gucci store.
People will get mad at me, but I only placed one bet, and that one bet was on Tennessee to beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I won $100.
Dawson's mad at you.
Yeah, I picked Kentucky. So.
I wanted to lose.
Have you ever bet against your team?
I'm never going to do it. Yeah. I don't care.
But we don't have to bet on them, though.
I won't. Yeah, listen, if I don't think I win, I won't bet.
I feel like I have premonitions. I don't know what it is, but at the beginning of the Kentucky game Saturday, I was like, they're going to win tonight.
How do you feel about some of the games today? I mean, we write some of these down.
I know, for real. No, you need me to come play poker with you.
Here's what I think you like. If you're betting against bet against your team that way. If they lose, hey, I want some money. But if they win, your team wins. A win-win scenario.
That's like a sin. You can't do that.
I used to do that when New England was in the Super Bowl a lot. I would always bet, not bet a ton. I'd maybe bet like $100 against them. That way, hey, if we lose, I want $100. If we win, Pats won the Super Bowl, baby. That's what I used to do.
You don't really even follow them anymore, though.
Yeah,
right?
I do. I'm not.
You're not a super fan.
Expressing my fandom like I did before when we were really good.
You would wear your suit.
Yeah, well, but trust me, there's no suit wearing right now for the. We won 2 games. We beat 2 bad teams. So
now you're a Bengals follower.
Who dey?
No, I'm still a Patriots follower. I'm not expressing it like the way I used to until we get a new quarterback in.
So you need to get a Bengals blazer, like.
I'm not a Bengals fan.
That's where I was
getting me riled up.
I was getting you.
Just getting me riled up. Where's John at? Get him out here. We got a lot to talk about today, though, with local high school football teams getting big postseason wins. Berea had to forfeit on Friday.
I hate that.
Yeah, well, listen, the way their season went, injuries, and they've had a lot of sickness over there. I think they had to cancel school on Friday because of it as well. So a rough season for Coach Thomas in his first year. A lot of youth, shortage on numbers, unable to finish out the season. But Madison Central, Madison Southern, really big wins, dominant performances from both teams, and they both advance in the postseason. We'll talk about that today. Also, today, the start of college basketball. It's crazy to think we are a college basketball season underway. Women's basketball at EKU underway today officially. The men will start tomorrow their first game of the year at home. And then we've got EKU football to talk about. A heartbreaking loss had the hearts of fans ripped out on Saturday. So all that to discuss here today on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. But I feel like the big thing to talk about today is EKU football and that very upsetting loss for the Colonels.
I feel like we need sound effects.
Like, such a sad way to see that game.
In overtime.
Well, and I put on, we were down there on the sideline. Dawson was getting his B-roll for the stuff today. I was down there getting just clips for social media stuff. And I put it out there. Why would you ever leave an EKU home game early? There's no reason to.
You got to stay till the fourth quarter
because you
don't know.
They're never out of a game. If they've got a big lead, defenses have struggled this year to stop other teams.
They did not. They can. Against Utah Tech last Saturday.
Well,
they stopped them.
And they didn't against Dawson P. Defense is what kept them in that game, Dawson.
Because the offense after that one drive couldn't score. They were stuck at 6 from the end of the first quarter to like 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. It's like, when are we going to score again, guys? But thankfully the defense stepped up when they needed to.
Well, it was 24-6, I think, at one point.
20-6.
20-6, yeah, well, down 14. So we made that great comeback, and then Austin P goes right back down the field to take the 7-point lead.
Quickly.
We both looked at each other like, gosh. And then Eastern's coming back up the field We had McKinney hit, I think it was Smith for that big play, or it was the guy that we hadn't talked much about. They got hit at the 50-yard line.
Took the targeting
and
away.
They took the targeting away. And then he hit Smith at the sideline that set up the game tying to Burbage in the end zone. Go to overtime, had a chance to score the touchdown. Got held out. Patrick Nations, who missed a big field goal, an extra point in the regulation, hits the field goal to put us up 3. And then we've got them backed up. I think it was 3rd and 6 in overtime.
They were behind the 20, I believe.
And they got a huge play to set up the touchdown. They eventually won the game for them. A heartbreaking loss.
Yeah. And a needed win.
Yeah, well.
It really was a needed win. How great would it have been to that UAC. Both teams were undefeated going in. So.
When you win that game, you really pretty much you put yourself in the driver's seat to win the conference. Having it at home, even bigger deal. Great crowd. I mean, we were kind of worried about the student section and stuff because there were really not a ton of students tailgating.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of students.
But everybody else was there. I mean, the city of Richmond showed out and supported the Colonels. Heartbreaking loss as they lose to Austin Peay. Some of the people I talked to today said that they believe that the playoff hopes are over.
Oh man!
But there is still hope. We got to root for chaos. We need Central Arkansas to lose to us, but beat Austin Peay, and we've got to have dominant wins in these next 2 wins in order to give ourselves and show the committee, hey, we do deserve one of those final 8 spots I think in the postseason.
So they give 10. There's 24, I think. 10 go to the conference. Austin Peay most likely will win that unless they get beat somewhere along the way by Central Arkansas. But looking at EK's resume, if they go undefeated, they may have a chance at sneaking in. Here's why. They only lost by 3 to Western Carolina, who's top 10. They beat SEMO, who is top 16, I believe. They played Kentucky good, FBS school. They beat Tarleton, who's pretty good, who's beaten Central Arkansas. They lost by 3 to Gardner-Webb, who's now 5-4. They've kind of pulled off a couple games. I looked. They lost by 3 on the last play to Austin Peay, who's going to win the conference most likely.
Yeah.
Then you go win these last 2. Maybe you do have a resume argument, but it's not likely because there's so many good teams in FCS.
Well, here's the thing, too. These last 2 are must-wins.
Have to. You can't lose one of them.
You cannot lose one of them and even think we have a shot at getting one of those selections from the committee. So you got to win these last 2, Samantha. But just watching the team, it's crazy how they never give up. And I think that's how the mentality has to be these last 2 weeks. We can't give up. We got to keep playing.
Which Coach said that early on in the season. What was it, that 3rd game that they lost, that they should not have lost. And they gave up. They weren't focused at the very end of that 4th quarter. So I think they've learned their lesson. But now I got to give it to Austin Peay. I mean, they got a great quarterback, that FCS player of the week last week. I mean, he's something special. You got to give kudos to him. But I'm all about Parker McKinney as well. But Parker's numbers were better than the other guys. Yeah. I can't say his name.
DeLilio or however you say it.
DeLilio, I think. Yeah. But, man, they both had a really good game. And the defense played good for once. Just a couple plays didn't go your way. Yeah. I think EK's problems are coming back too much. And, it works out for them in the end, but you don't want to have to go to overtime. You want to be able to beat them in regulation. So you can't screw up a play or 2, have to kick a field goal, and they go score on you.
Yeah, and how great was, talking about defense, how great was Logan Blake? I mean, he still had 18 tackles. Yep. This was like the 5th game that he's had like 15 or more tackles.
He has a nose for the football. If you're down there on the sidelines watching him, it just seems like he always finds his way to the ball. You're talking about McKinney, Parker, 34 completions, just 4 yards short of 400 passing yards. Did throw 3 touchdowns and not a single pick. McKinney played well. It looks like he's having trouble running the football. Doesn't seem like he's as quick as he was. This time of the year, nobody's healthy, so not as a limber or as agile as he was to begin the season. But you look at those numbers, huge game for Parker. We needed Parker to step up. He did. And I tell you what, the wide receivers were getting open, and they made some big plays yards after the catch were big for some of those guys, just coming up short in the moment where sometimes the ball bounces your way. We've seen that in some games this year. Sometimes it doesn't. That was the case on Saturday as the Colonels lose to Austin Peay.
Well, EKU's had the ball bounce their way a lot this year, and they've kind of gotten lucky in some of those games. And sitting at 4-5, thank goodness it has bounced their way, but eventually it wasn't going to. And, of course, this is the one where it did, and that's why we have to go 2-0 at the least to even be in the conversation for playoffs. I've given up UAC. It still can possibly happen with a tiebreaker, I'm most likely to give Austin Peay's really good.
We got to have I don't know who Austin Peay plays after Central Arkansas or before Central Arkansas. They'll have a game this week.
Yeah.
But we got to beat UAC. We got to beat Central Arkansas easily.
Saturday.
Command the
5 p.m.
They're top
dominate
25.
them.
That's hard.
And we have to beat Stephen F. Austin. We got to destroy them at home.
Luckily, they're the worst team in UAC, so that should be easy. But going on the road at top, I think they're number 25, Central Arkansas for FCS. I don't know. That's going to be tough to blow them out.
Yeah. That's 2 weeks. It's going to be colder. Who knows if it's going to be raining? And there's so many factors that can be involved. We got to keep them healthy. That's all I keep thinking about with football is you got to keep them healthy. So who knows? Who knows?
Colonels on the road this week as they take on Central Arkansas. Dawson and I will have the tailgate show 90 minutes before kickoff, and then we'll also hear from Walt Wells during the tailgate show. It'll be a fun Saturday at Central Arkansas. They'll be leaving on Friday to go down there and make the trip, get ready for a big game, kick off at 5 o'clock. So our coverage will begin at 3:30 on 100.7 The Coyote. You can listen to Dawson and I on the EKU Tailgate Show as we get you set for another big UAC matchup for EKU football. We'll step aside for another commercial break. Colonels lost, but the high school teams coming away with 2 big victories. Madison Central over Dunbar, Madison Southern knocking off Harlan County this past week. We'll talk about those matchups.
The Bears, the Black Bears.
The Black Bears, yeah. And I think that's where our the GM from here is from. He went to Harlan County, was a Black Bear himself.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So we'll talk more about that and look back at those games, preview the matchups for this Friday when we come back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Are you looking for a brand new SUV that won't break the bank? Look no farther than Jack Burford Chevrolet, home of the newly redesigned 2024 Trax. Bigger, bolder, more refined, and starting under $25,000, the new Chevy Trax is really upped its game. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see everything this new Trax has to offer.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
The Beast of the East roars back to life for their 2022 racing season. Most Saturday nights, some Friday nights, and maybe even a Sunday. You can take the whole family down to the Richmond Raceway for some good family fun. Watch the drivers race around the 1,584 feet clay track for some big winnings. Children 10 and under are always admitted free. Richmond Raceway, Greens Crossing off Highway 52 East, and richmondraceway.net. And unleash your inner beast at the Richmond Raceway.
Welcome back into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford, Dawson Rule here with you on a Monday night in Richmond, and looking back at some big performances for our local high school football teams as Madison Central knocked off Dunbar, shut out the Bulldogs on the road by the score of 27-0, and Madison Southern handing an easy win to Harlan County as the Eagles won 49-6, kind of a blowout victory for both teams. And Central, I think, Dawson, being at that game, and you were there, Samantha, I feel like the Indians should have won by even more. Kind of left some points on the board, a few mental mistakes in that game. You know, he had the muff punt.
Penalties.
Penalties bit them in the backside as well.
Touchdowns that were called back. I mean,
so there were some plays where I think Central could have had a running clock in that game against Dunbar, which would have helped my toes not freeze off. But it was still a big win for the Indians as they knock off the Dunbar Bulldogs for the third straight postseason. The Indians end the season for Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
They're probably mad that they got to keep playing us in the playoffs. They probably don't like Madison Central one bit. We just keep beating them every single year, it feels like. But they played great. Bryant Mathis, 3 touchdowns, and he had 1 called back. Man, he was running all over Dunbar on Friday night. It was nice to see, you know, after a tough season that they can get a playoff win. And Coach Blair got his first one of his head coaching career.
Yeah. And speaking of Bryant, we were really freaking out being at the game when he, like, that first opening drive, and he was like,
got leveled.
KJ, you know, kind of tossed up the ball and threw it to Bryant. We were all
I think it was snapped over his head, right? So when he went back to go get it, he kind of just saw Bryant in his peripherals. He just kind of let it go, and then the defense had enough time to recover it.
You could really hear him land on the ground, and then he just lay there. So we all were a little panicked. You don't want that to happen to anybody. So glad he was able to get up, get some touchdowns, and 245 yards.
Yeah,
so.
Huge game. And you talked about it, Dawson. How big of a win is that for Coach Blair, considering the way this season went with all the injuries and all the start, 0-5 to start the season, to finish out with 3 of your last 5 wins in the regular season, and then you get the postseason win. At least you salvaged the year, I think, for Madison Central football, because all these kids that fought their way back from the injury, got to play in a playoff game, played well. And now you're rewarded with the top team in Class 6A.
Like Steele.
Steele and Parker Mullins and Jeff Bishop came back and played.
Them,
but now Predator Douglas awaits you, and a team that we know it was 44-7 last time we played. Just a month ago.
October 6th.
Yeah, October 6th. So doesn't seem like that long ago. We were up there in Lexington. We came right back home. We were only there for an hour and a half. We made the trip back to Richmond.
Yeah, I'd rather them play a Louisville school like that and then most likely end up losing. I'm not saying it's a loss, but it's not looking the best. But Douglas, man, they stack up. You know, that's how it is.
It's speed that you can't teach. That was what was on display the last time we played them. And I think there is a way for Central to keep it close, maybe pull off an upset, but a lot has to go right. We've got to have another monster performance from Mathis. I mean, he's got to have, I think, 300 yards or more, because if he can do that, you get yardage, you keep that explosive offense off the field, and you give yourself a chance to at least not have to make any mistakes throwing the football. But you also got to find a way to box in those speedy wide receivers. They have an inexperienced quarterback because Coach Carpenter has been out for the year. Mm-hmm. But he's looked very well throwing the football as well. And I think with those weapons that they have, I think I could go out there and throw a few touchdowns.
Every quarterback I feel like Douglas has had. So, well, maybe they're decent, but they get a lot of help from those receivers and all that, running backs. So that's just kind of how Douglas is. They build around really good athletes. They get them in, and hey, they can win ball games that way.
I really like that Central had that extra week, that bye week last week to get ready. One more week to give them healing time, to get these guys back out on the field, some practice time. Because even Mathis had a sprained calf muscle, so it gave him an extra week to get healing.
Station,
So that extra week, I think, made a big difference for them. I almost wish they had an extra week to prepare for Douglas. But it is what it is, and that's what the playoffs are all about. So
Madison Southern, they'll be at home once again. You win the first home game against Harlan County. Now you host North Laurel, a team that has a better record than the Eagles. North Laurel comes in at 7-4, same record as Southern, but they have a better RPI than the Eagles do. But looking at what North Laurel has done this year, their 7 wins, beat Whitley County by 12. Southern kind of manhandled them. They beat Central by 7. Southern beat Central by 12, I believe. They beat Pulaski County by 14. Central beat Pulaski County. Southern beat Central. You look at some of these wins for North Laurel, and the way they kind of stack up with the wins for Southern, which a lot of, kind of comparable games between the two teams. They've both beaten the same teams, but Southern has won those games by more points. Now,
you have a new quarterback now.
Yeah, new quarterback. Some things have changed, but I think Southern should be the favorite going into this game, but it won't be an easy victory.
They'll be the home favorite, and they're playing a little bit better right now than North Laurel, but North Laurel's a pretty solid team too, but I do give the edge to Southern because they're on a roll right now, a bunch of wins in a row.
5 straight wins, yeah.
Wow, 5 straight, and also first win for Coach Payne at Southern, so congratulations to him too.
In the postseason.
A postseason win, so him and Blair did that on Friday, and another winnable game for Coach Payne this week, and they've got a really good team, and they're clicking. I think on offense against Harlan County, 3 or 4 different guys got a receiving touchdown, or 2 or 3 different guys got a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, 4 different guys got a receiving touchdown. Moore caught 1, Winkler caught 1, Blair caught 1, and Braden Hall caught 1. Rushing, Preston Williams got in the end zone, Braden Kelly got in the end zone, and Zach Smith. So 7 different guys got in the end zone for Madison Southern.
And
crazy
that's
is that?
how good they are. I mean,
that shows you got weapons.
Yeah,
everywhere on the field, and they're not afraid to throw it around or mix in different guys at quarterback. Put Moore out there for 1 or 2 plays to run, and they'll put him at wide receiver. It's just
I like that.
And running backs coming in and out, Preston Williams, Whitehead, all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they should definitely be the favorite Friday night against North Laurel.
You just don't know who's going to get the ball. And that's what I like.
Hard to prepare for. Yeah.
Yes, and it's hard to prepare for. So different than how Madison Central's year is going.
And Craven played his best game of the year, too. He's getting more experience as quarterback, 151 yards. You were getting ready to say 3 touchdowns, and he was 7 of 10 through the air. So very efficient for the Madison Southern quarterback.
And the one guy, the Winkler guy that caught a touchdown or rushed, I don't remember which one.
I'm assuming that's probably one of those.
I think he's a freshman.
Yeah, JV players probably getting some reps in the late game. So, good to see these young guys getting in on the postseason action.
I like it. Yes.
Well, Southern and Central both play this week. We know we'll be live at Madison Southern on WBON. We'll be streaming there. Still waiting to hear back from Frederick Douglass as to what we are able to do, whether it be on TV or radio only. We will let you know once we find out. Now, when we were there in October, they said we couldn't do a video stream. We're going to find out what is available to us, and we'll be able to put that out there.
That's because they have their own.
Yeah,
right?
they do their, and a lot of schools are doing that now.
Yeah,
so,
they have their own. Yeah. I want to call it the robots.
Yeah,
but
whatever it is, they have their own way of doing things.
Kind of thing.
We'll see what happens, and we'll let you know when that time comes. But we do know that we'll be live at Madison Southern as they look to make it to another regional championship game over in Berea. We'll step aside for another commercial break. EKU men's and women's hoops. They'll get started this week. Women start tonight. Men tomorrow. We'll look ahead and hear from the 2 coaches when we come back live in Richmond. This is the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Are you looking for a brand new SUV that won't break the bank? Look no farther than Jack Burford Chevrolet, home of the newly redesigned 2024 Trax. Bigger, bolder, more refined, and starting under $25,000, the new Chevy Trax is really upped its game. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond or check us out at jackburford.com to see everything this new Trax has to offer.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
The Beast of the East roars back to life for their 2022 racing season. Most Saturday nights, some Friday nights, and maybe even a Sunday. You can take the whole family down to the Richmond Raceway for some good family fun. Watch the drivers race around the 1,584 feet clay track for some big winnings. Children 10 and under are always admitted free. Richmond Raceway, Greens Crossing off Highway 52 East, and richmondraceway.net. And unleash your inner beast at the Richmond Raceway.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, and last week, Dawson and I were at EKU Media Day as both Greg Todd of the women's basketball team and A.W. Hamilton of the men's basketball team broke down their schedules, broke down their team, and got us ready for some EKU basketball action. Let's hear from Coach Todd as he talks about, again, his team, what he expects from them this year, got the Player of the Year, preseason Player of the Year on his roster, and ranked third in the preseason ranking. Let's hear from Coach Todd about the EKU women's basketball team.
Means a lot to have everybody here. We're embarking on a new season here very soon, and very excited to get going. Our girls have worked very hard in the summer and this fall, and it gets real with the exhibition next week, and feel like our program is going in a good direction. I thought last season to be able to win 18 games and play in a very good conference was a very good second year for us, and this year we've got even higher expectations. We did lose some key players from last year, but we feel like had a very good recruiting year and like our team a lot. Be a little different type of team, but first off, Mari Walker's returning, and she is projected to be the ASUN Player of the Year. Really could have been potentially the ASUN Player of the Year last year, but was first team all-conference newcomer of the year. She's worked, I think, very hard on her overall game. She can flat put it in the bucket. She's tried to improve, I think, her three-point shooting, her passing, and defensively, we'll see. It was hard, I think, hard to put the ball in her hands as much as we did last year. I felt like, defensively it suffered a little bit with her. I think this year, hopefully, we got a little more depth, and potentially, I think she can play harder on the defensive end as well. So excited about her. Alice Recognati is having a tremendous career. This will be her fourth year, but still has another year of eligibility. She will not have to handle the ball as much for us as she has my first 2 years. But a great competitor, works incredibly hard, and I think we'll be able to get a few more points out of her. She led the conference last year in assists. Just a winner in my opinion. And outside of those two, we bring back two other players, Bree Crittenden, who started I think over 20 games my first year here. Was a big part of us having a 15-win season. She will be back. She had ACL last year. Probably not 100% today, but I think as we roll into the season, she'll be 100% very soon. And also Bridget Fox, who was our only post last season. She's returning this year. We were able to add three, maybe even a fourth post. So much deeper in the post position than a year ago. So that's the returners. Very excited about bringing a local girl, Ivy Turner, back into closer, although she was at Northern Kentucky, but she'll be closer to home. And if you look at her statistics through 4 years, amazingly consistent, played over 30 minutes all 4 years. A good shooter, a great passer, just a good teammate. Was second team all conference 1 year in the Horizon League. In addition to her, we have Nakia Thompson, who I've coached against 4 years at Jacksonville State. Loved her energy, coaching against her. Glad she's on our side. She had a tremendous third year of play at Jacksonville State. They ended up playing the NIT. She was point guard, 2-to-1 assist to turnover that year. She had a concussion last year, didn't have as good a year as she would probably liked, but she's worked very, very hard. We have also a young lady, Rappy Toussaint, who is a transfer from Ryder, who I feel like will be a big addition to us. She's averaged double figures in scoring and about 7.5 rebounds, I know in one year. And also we have Sierra McCullough, who potentially be our starting 5 player. She is having a really good preseason for us. She had a solid year at Tennessee State. So that's just a few names to mention there. Our league is, I think, a very good league. Florida Gulf Coast is probably, I don't know if they've been the most dominant team, men or women's, the last 15 years. But I wouldn't bet against them not being, and they load up every year. Carl is a tremendous coach, but even more, a lot more important for us coaches than being good coaches is he gets great players, and he's just killed the transfer portal every year because of their winning. But they're always set at the top of our league. Lipscomb last year won 20 games. They were a surprise. They returned 5 starters, picked up some freshmen that'll be good. So, the top 2 there will be very good. I think Austin P, they're like us. They picked up some very good transfers. They returned a very good post player. So, a little bit about that. I mean, non-conference, we've got some great matchups. I think getting to travel to Alaska is going to be wonderful in November. Might probably be a little cold. But we're looking forward to opportunity to go there. Utah's in that tournament. We open up with Birmingham, Alabama, so we'll have a tough schedule there. We play at Tennessee. Got several road games later in December, so that's just kind of an opening statement. Any questions?
Jordan,
sure.
With all those transfers coming in this season, how's the team chemistry looking like, and is that something that you're worried about or worry about?
I feel like first 2 years here, we've had very good chemistry, good culture. So we have a lot of support administratively. I've got a great staff. So certainly not. I mean, with 4 returning players, it's pretty much kind of a new team. So it's not like that. We're necessarily blending a lot of different things, and we kind of start over, and it may take a few games for us to gel because, like I said, with Lipscomb, they return whole starting team. Our men's team returns all but one, so that I think that gives you a little bit of a head start to start well, because we don't really know how everything's going to click in games, but we're very excited. I think the talent level we have is very high.
Coach, last year, I know when we talked, size was one thing you really wanted to bring in this year, and like you've done that with a couple of these transfers that you're bringing in. Is that something that you really wanted to focus on still, even with the freshman Lindsley, who's got some size with her as well?
Yes, we definitely worked harder to get. It's not having post offensively is not a concern. I think we play fast. We can score. We scored last year. It was when we ran into very good posts. We just didn't have enough bodies. And I feel like this year, I think, just in our division with Austin P and Bellarmine having 2 great post players, you got to have bodies. There's several very strong posts that we have to defend. So it was more a defensive challenge than offensively. But yes, we definitely have more size in the post.
With the height, when I was walking through, I was going to say, they passed the eye test in terms of the height, and I thought of the Naris Sickles or something, that you would have more people like that. Is it more of a paint protection?
Yes. Yes, we won 18 games last year with, like I said, one post, and it was more of a 5. We played 5 guards a lot. You can win games, but we did get into trouble with teams that had good guards and could bully us inside, and so we definitely tried to protect that for this year.
You protected home too. You won 22 games, I think, the last couple of years. What is it about home and then the road? Because it's been a sub 500 record on the road.
Yes, I think from a standpoint of being a good basketball team, you have to be able to travel and win. I felt like we made a little bit of stride at times toward the end of the year last year. We won a few games in conference on the road, but it's something we've got to get better. And it's I think we get good attendance at home, which is good. I think the open gym, the high roof, a lot of variables. It's not an easy place. I brought Morehead State team in here a few times. It's not an easy place to get a win at all. So I think a lot of those factors, and I think we've, the community's been good. Our support has been better. So I think we do need to play better on the road. So we got to challenge ourselves to be better on the road.
I've heard coaches say this is a shooter's graveyard. Do you agree with that to a degree?
I think it's very difficult first time coming in. Once you have played a lot on the court, it gets better. And we obviously spend hours and hours shooting in here, but I think the depth perception is different, and sound is a little different. It is a tough place. So I hope we can keep that going when we renovate the newness for 25, January 25. So yeah.
With Walker receiving all that individual expectation, is there something that, like, I don't want to say you change your entire game plan to give her more opportunities to work around, but you still need to get her the ball. How is she sort of rolling with that, and how are you guys approaching that? Preseason ASUN Player of the Year is it's a big deal.
She's a great young lady. I think she wants to win. Not sure what her numbers will be this year. We didn't anticipate this time last year that we'd see 21 points a game, nine rebounds. We were hoping she could rebound at a high level. She just has an incredible motor on game day. She practices hard. She's the only one in the gym real early today shooting. She's just got incredible work ethic, and I think winning is the most important for her, and for us to get on the map, winning 18 games last year, but we've got higher goals this season, and I think that's her biggest focus. But she'll have an opportunity with her accolades to play professionally, so I think she's trying to improve her all-around game, and we'll see that as well.
And then how do you see that maybe improving some of the other performances of the players around her?
I think it's good. She's going to get a lot of double teams. It's going to get some open players. Compared to last season, we don't have as many good shooters or tall wings as last year. And shooting covers a lot of sins. That's part of the reason we had a successful year. But we've got enough shooters. We're very athletic. So hopefully she can get her teammates some open looks.
To kind of piggyback off that, obviously it's not a one-man or one-woman team, but with a player like that, how far do you think she could really carry this team, and is this a possible NCAA team?
I know Coach is sitting back there. I think they were picked 10th last year, and you saw what happened. It's more the process. It's really difficult to know exactly. I mean, we're down. Everybody's going to win the pennant in baseball, and we got two teams now that are there. That it's just so hard to tell. I think our expectations are high. Part of it's the teams you're playing against. Like I said, we do have a nemesis in Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, they're winning games in the national tournament. I mean, they beat University of Kentucky at UK last year. They're for real, very, very real team. And then the way it's set up, you've got to go through Fort Myers to play at their place in the tournament if they win the seed. So obviously for us, we're trying to do everything we can to try to get to host. I actually like that, but that's, as you all know, I'm a little odd, a little different guy, but I think you earn that, and it's a long season. Why not? But yes, they're a very, very tough out. So, I mean, I think that's always ultimately your goal. But we want to play postseason this year, and we actually got an invitation, but we were just sort of beat down by the end of last year, and I think our girls were we didn't have the depth to do that. But definitely a goal is for us to play longer.
You see any changes in your style of play this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I think we're much faster, so we're playing more up tempo. We'll be able to play more full court press. I think we should be able to score the ball up and down. I think defensively we're better. which we weren't a real strong defensive team, but I feel like defensively we've gotten better.
You mentioned Ivy. She's always been a scorer, high school, military. Do you need her to score, or is she someone to set the pace that you're wanting to play?
She's just such a smart player, one of the smartest players I've ever been around, and picks up on things. She is another one I absolutely would love to come home and have a very, very good year. And I think she played a little bit that way at Northern. Whatever you need, if you need somebody to make a shot, she's going to make it. If she's got a mismatch, she's going to drive it. Defensively, she's not the quickest girl ever, not as crazy athletic as some of our girls that we have, but she's very smart. She's going to know the scout. She's going to know how to play defensively, and in a system, she'll do very well.
Are you looking for a brand new SUV that won't break the bank? Look no farther than Jack Burford Chevrolet, home of the newly redesigned 2024 Trax. Bigger, bolder, more refined, and starting under $25,000, the new Chevy Trax is really upped its game. Come see us at Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, or check us out at jackburford.com to see everything this new Trax has to offer.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
The Beast of the East roars back to life for their 2022 racing season. Most Saturday nights, some Friday nights, and maybe even a Sunday. You can take the whole family down to the Richmond Raceway for some good family fun. Watch the drivers race around the 1,584 feet clay track for some big winnings. Children 10 and under are always admitted free. Richmond Raceway, Greens Crossing off Highway 52 East, and richmondraceway.net. And unleash your inner beast at the Richmond Raceway.
We heard from Greg Todd talking about the EKU women's basketball team, which tips off here in about 17 minutes for their first game of the year. Now let's hear from head coach A.W. Hamilton of the men's basketball team as they get their season ready tomorrow. They'll open up their home schedule, and a big year due up for the Colonels. Defensive Player of the Year in the preseason in the conference. Conference Player of the Year on the squad as well, and preseason ranked #1 by the coaches and by the media. Let's hear from A.W. Hamilton from the EKU men's basketball team.
Last time we were all together in here, we had the whole team in here, and they announced they were coming back. It was right before the Final Four. It seemed kind of crazy, but then if you look and saw what happened across the country, we're one of 10 teams that's got 70% or more of their points, assists, rebounds, blocks, steals coming back. And I'm proud of this group. You know, they love each other. They love Eastern Kentucky. They love being part of this community, and they want to be different. And that's why they came back. And they play with so much passion. And when you watched them last year, they were easy to fall in love with. And what happened was we led the conference in attendance for the first time in school history. That's the impact they had. We've been playing basketball here for a really, really long time. And last year was the first time in school history we led the league in attendance. And at the end of the year, it was standing room only. There's a lot of energy and excitement for these guys. I'm proud of them, how they approach every day, though. They haven't got caught up in any of the preseason polls. That doesn't mean anything to them. They're focused on the process of becoming a championship-level team. And there's things that we got to improve on to become that team, and these guys know that. So it's been a really good offseason. We're excited to get the season going.
Coach, I got a question for you. We kind of saw it with North Carolina last year, or 2 years ago, when they went to the championship. All the guys came back. Everyone was, thinking they would run the table and things like that. Ended up not even making the tournament. So how do you guys kind of handle these expectations and kind of make sure that this season is even better than last?
When they start all the preseason rankings and all that started coming out, I would literally just walk in the locker room and rip it up. It doesn't matter. They didn't come back and stay together to have a letdown in their approach of becoming a great basketball team. We're not a great basketball team yet. We're close, but we're not there yet, and they understand that.
Because there is so much returning, do you expect maybe a little bit more? Because they are mature, they know the system, they know what to expect, compared to being a freshman, sophomore, where they're still trying to find their way.
Yeah, and I told this to a group of people last night. Our expectations have always been high. In my mind, my preseason rankings, I've always had us number one. Nobody else just thought that. But my expectations for these guys is very high. And, we talk about being a player-led program, which for us means each guy's got to hold himself to a high standard and be able to hold himself accountable. And that's what these kids do, and they do a really good job of it.
Of all the guys that came back, is there one that you've been just insanely impressed with that has really upped his game to maybe earn some more PT this year?
Listen, I could talk about all of them. I think the CBI, what it did for Cozy, is amazing. What it did for him and his career is absolutely amazing. He had a phenomenal year besides the CBI. He's fourth in the country in block shots, and he wasn't even Defensive Player of the Year in the league. All right, but that's another thing. I'm just throwing that in there. All right, but what he did in the CBI has carried over to what he's doing right now. He's playing with so much confidence. Like we're running plays for him, and he's finishing with his right hand now. He's making free throws. So I'm really excited for Cozy, and I think Leland Walker's taken a big step forward. He really had, and Leland had a really good year. He averaged double figures as a freshman. That's hard to do, but he's taken a big jump. He's really improved his body, and you'll see that with how he moves consistently.
The guard play you had at the end of the year, Tayshaun, Leland, everybody, and Bucktree comes in and hits big shots. What's your rotation? How many would you like to go comfortably, 8, 9, 10, whatever?
The more the better. Tayshaun, he broke an EKU record. Most games started as a freshman, 37. And, and I told you guys last year I was going to throw those guys into the fire, and I thought they did a phenomenal job, all of them. We call them Tayshaun T-Dot, Leland, and we call Turner T-Baby. I don't know where the heck we got that name from, but we called him T-Baby. I thought they all matured as the season went along. And I told Turner the other day, I said, Turner, you might be the best shooter I've ever seen. And I said, there's no way that your percentages will ever be as low as they were last year. I mean, when we had a magical week right at the beginning of conference play, we beat Liberty, Florida Gulf Coast, and Stetson. What Turner Buttry did in that 3-game stretch was phenomenal. I mean, it was phenomenal. But that's what we see in practice. And Doug and Stotts are always there at practice. The kid, as soon as he walks in the gym, he's in range. It's amazing how well that kid can shoot the basketball.
You referenced the CBI run a second ago. Obviously, it's done great things for Cozy, but just for the team in general, how have you seen that level of success transition over into the summer, maybe even into recruiting and into what this team could be this year?
It did so much for us. We talked about it at the beginning of last year. I said my goal for the team, I didn't talk about a championship. I said my goal was for if we lose our last game, that everybody's so invested that everybody's in tears. And what you want is you never want a team that has any regrets at the end. And what we had a group when it was all over. Those guys got to watch Cooper Robb take his jersey off for the last time, and Cooper had nothing left. And it was inspiring. And it was, and these guys, you know, they felt the passion that Cooper had, you know, for the program and for this university. And I thought the guys, when they decided to come back, I think a lot of the impact was what happened in the CBI. You know, that tournament was really, really good for us. It was really good for us. I mean, the way we played, you know, I did a great job coaching. I told the guys, I said, listen, let's get down 12 to Cleveland State, and then let's come all the way back and let's win in overtime. So then we played the second round game. I said, look, we got the #1 seed, Indiana State. They're a really good team out of the Missouri Valley. I said, let's get down like 17. You know, and I said, you know, then let's come all the way back and win the game in overtime. So then we did that, and then all of a sudden they have watch parties all over from Georgetown to Richmond. Like everybody's tuned in to watch us because we keep having these miracle comebacks. So then we played Southern Utah, and we were on ESPN. Joe Lenardi's calling the game. I said, guys, at the beginning, you know, we got down 13. I said, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want to do. I said, we'll tie it up, but this game, let's go to double overtime. You know, 'cause we were a standalone game. There was nobody else on to watch. So then we went in double overtime, and we scored 108 points. So then everybody was like, you know what? Now I know what the most exciting 40 minutes in sports is. I said, I've been trying to tell you guys. You just got to watch us. So the CBI was pretty cool, and the weather was good.
Sorry, you mentioned Cooper, Rob. Do you have a guy on this year's roster who can be that defensive guy? He was a pest, but he did it so nonchalantly. He didn't look like he was doing so much, but then you'd see, you know, 5 steals, deflection, turnover that he would call on.
It was cool. You know, when you lose your last game, it's hard as a coach, because especially when you got a team like we got, because everybody's in tears, and it's emotional, and I'm upset. I thought we should have won the game, and, you know, I'm trying to say something really nice, and I got to go talk to Stotts on the radio, so I'm trying to get myself pumped up. And so I say my quick word, and then I'm leaving the locker room to go out with Stottsy, and Cooper gets up, and he gives his speech. And he's challenging the guys like, look, who's going to be me next year? Somebody's got to be me. Somebody's got to take on that perimeter defense that I did and that toughness that I brought every day. And it's been a collection of guys, you know, and I've been really impressed with Colin Cooper, our transfer from Central Arkansas. You know, he's a double-figure scorer in this league. He's a grad transfer. He's an older kid. He's tough. He can make shots. So I've been really, really impressed with him and proud of what he's doing and how he's blended in with our team. And, you know, you look at us defensively last year, we're second in our league in efficiency. Cozart, he changed us. He really did. He cleans up a lot of mistakes that we make on the perimeter. And so he's got to continue to do that. And then, you know, it's got to be a collection of guys.
Coach, you talked about one of those newcomers. How, obviously, we all know who will probably start first game. So
how do you know?
That's true. Things get changed, but with all these guys returning, you're knowing so many players. How those newcomers kind of handled, maybe not having maybe a long way to go to maybe get playing time?
Yeah, college basketball and college athletics has changed so much overnight. You know, it's rare when, like, you look at a team and, like, everybody's back. And I give Colin, I give Pierce Thomas, Robbie Todd, Jax Allen a lot of credit. They've blended into the locker room. They understand how we do things at Eastern. And we play really hard, and we compete like crazy. And we go. We're nonstop. And they've just fit right into what we're doing here.
I haven't mentioned Big Mike yet. How's his offseason?
I say the same thing. He's had a great offseason. He's 16 made threes away from being the all-time leader in threes at Eastern Kentucky. What a career he's had. You know, he's going to be top 5 in scoring, top 5 in rebounding, the all-time leader in threes. We had a function last night, so I give a speech, I give a presentation. Then I have Michael come up, and Michael, you know, and I told him on the bus on the ride over there, I said, Michael, I'm going to bring you up. I'm going to let you introduce all the guys. He introduced all the guys, talked about where they're from, gave a funny story about each one. The kid's amazing. It's not basketball. It's everything else he's done for this program and for the university. I mean, he is the ultimate ambassador of Eastern Kentucky, and he's special. I don't know what I'm going to do without him. So I'm just going to coach him like crazy this year, and we're going to have fun, and that'll be one of the hardest senior nights, probably the hardest senior nights I ever have to do.
Just for yourself, you've been here 3 years now. You sure yourself up with a new contract in the off season. Just where do you feel the
Well, the state of the program is really strong. The things we're doing at Eastern Kentucky are unbelievable. You look at, a $51 million renovation that's happening into our arena. You look at record enrollment for the university. You look at the leadership. You look at the fact that all our guys came back. They came back for a reason. It's not because of me. It's because the passion and energy that's around the program. Everybody wants to play in front of a sellout arena. That's the dream. That's what you wake up when you're a kid, that you imagine playing in front of a sellout. That's what we had. You're not leaving this. These kids, we go around the country and we play games everywhere. What we got in that arena, the passion our fans got, is special. So I think the state of the program is really strong.
Coach, you mentioned how getting these guys to come back again in this world now of NIL and transfer portal. How special is that those guys, that some of them didn't leave? I'm sure they had the opportunity to do so.
Oh, a bunch of them did. And, every coach you talk about, we're going to be a family. 1, 2, 3, family on 3. We all do that. I've been doing this is year 19 for me. Not every team is like that. These guys really genuinely love each other. They didn't want to break up. They wanted to stay together and keep playing basketball. And they're such a competitive group. And with all the expectations, that's why it just really hasn't phased our group, because they're so competitive. Our year didn't end like we wanted it to, and it didn't end like they wanted it to. And they didn't want it, they didn't want to be in the CBI. That wasn't their dream. They want to play in the NCAA tournament. And they knew their best path was to stay together. That was the best path to get to the NCAA tournament. So that's why they did it. It's pretty cool. I admire those kids for doing that.
We saw what it meant to have Western come in here last year. Now you go to return the favorite. What does that game mean to this program and the university?
I think it's great for both programs, and when we're going to continue to play. We want to play Northern. We obviously play Bellarmine. We want to play Moorhead. We want to play Murray. We want to play all the teams in our state. I think that's really, really important. So hopefully that continues. We play Northern this year. We play Western, and we're hoping to start series back up.
Following up on Michael's question, obviously you guys play the in-state opponents, but you also play some good non-conference games, Alabama, Purdue, at UNC Greensboro, and a whole lot of others. Did y'all kind of build a schedule like that to challenge yourself early and get ready for another run in March?
Yeah, you want to play a challenging non-conference schedule, and plus, if I don't, Stotts is going to kill me. And I'll have to answer so many questions about the non-conference schedule. So I said, look, what we're going to do, we're going to play the hardest schedule we could possibly play. That way Stotts can't say anything to me about scheduling this year. So this will be the first year that Stotts doesn't get to say anything about the schedule. So, it's a tough schedule. We're playing anybody and everybody.
What is that balance like, though, if you play all of these, that tough schedule early on, and say you lose those games, and how you don't just naturally become hard to pick yourself back up? How do you find that balance of not getting to that, but also in just thriving in those moments and using that experience?
It's tough. One of the things that we got to do better, and we've challenged this team, is we got to be better on the road. We were magical at home last year. We had the longest home winning streak since 90, right, KB? But we got to take that magic on the road. And so, we have a lot of challenging road games that I think that are going to help us get ready for our league. But, it's a great question. It's tough because these are young people. And there's social media. There's people talking. They're going to say stuff. But this is such a together group and such a competitive group. They know what the end goal is. And we just got to stay focused on the process.
You mentioned that end goal, kind of the genesis of the team staying together, wanting to make an NCAA tournament, wanting to leave a legacy here. So how much are you able to, if you ever have to, I guess, address that with them? Because that's something that you talk about openly. Is it something that you mentioned ripping up the preseason expectations earlier? Just how do you handle that when it's such a forefront issue?
You know what, we work really hard in everything that we do. How we lift, how we do our individuals, how we attack our study hall. Everything we do is there's a commitment of excellence, and you got to give the kids credit. We don't have many distractions. I don't remember even the last time I talked to our academic advisor. I guess all our guys just do a good job because they want to play. They want to play. They want to be successful. And it makes it fun. And, there's only been one practice where I've really had to, juice them up. which is a good sign for a basketball team.